and we're plugged in with Maura Collins. Good to have you all here today with me on this journey of being plugged in. You know, being plugged in is my mantra of where I am at in my recovery, where I am at in my life and as a person. So that kind of brings me to let you all know the why. Why am I having this podcast? What is the driving force behind it? I think a lot of it has to do with some of the stuff that I can't talk about in a 12-step meeting. It's the stuff that I want to bring out of me through other speakers on different topics that relate to recovery or just relate to everyday living. You know, what makes us all want to be plugged in. So, you know, I have been into podcasts for years. I've done a lot in media, a lot on radio. And when I was at iHeart, they were telling me a lot about how podcasts was the newest way of media. So I didn't really understand that. I always grew up listening to the radio. That was, you know, the first impulse, listening to the radio when I got in the car and I started listening to podcasts. And I liked it because I could look up different things, different topics, different people, and just listen to them. And then I started watching some video podcasts, and that was exciting too. And during the pandemic, I had a lot more time to think about what would really make me happy in my life. I've done all different things in my recovery. I've spoken at conventions. I've sponsored women. I've done all different kinds of ways of expressing my talent in communicating with people, but not being able to use my talent in media to kind of get a message across to people. Why not make this a fun, interactive way of getting raw, getting honest, learning our truth, and being plugged in? So, you know, I've been in recovery for 13 years. I did suffer a relapse. There was a lot of pain, a lot of grieving, a lot of change that's happened to me since I first, discovered recovery in 2007. There's a lot of experience there. And there's a lot of experience with the people that I've met along the way and the people that I've met recently that I want to bring on the show that have come from, you know, a recovery background and have rebuilt their lives and bring a lot of talent, you know, into not just the rooms, but in the professional lives. Like, let's talk about people that have gone from being a complete bare-bone drug addict to a successful member of society. Let's see that. When I go to a 12-step meeting, I can't see all those layers and onion emotions and, you know, all those layers of work that we have had to do on ourselves in order to stay clean. You know, you can stay clean and go to a meeting and talk about literature all day long and all that stuff. And I love that stuff. And then be in the parking lot and talking to me about some raw stuff that I can connect with. Like, I want to learn more about what is making people want to change, educating people on, say, the opiate epidemic. I've had a lot of involvement with that, a lot of involvement with the opiate task force here in the county and, you know, learning a lot more about what addiction really is. You can't really learn that in the program. It's more, you know, self-taught stuff that I've gone out and learned about and bringing some experts in here and talking about it, talking about mental health, talking about some topics that people may think are taboo topics, but these are real life topics that we need to bring to the forefront of regular podcasting. So I want to do something different. I want it to be fun. I want you to listen to an episode and be like, you know what? I cannot wait till the next one. I can't wait to see what's next. There's a reason why people engage in media, reality TV, all those different things is because they can't wait for what's coming out next. So like, I grew up in a very musical culture. I'm a, you know, musician. When I grew up, you know, I always sang and played guitar and stuff, not like that. And I had my favorite musicians out there and I just couldn't wait to hear what was next. But there were so many musicians out there that were addicts, that had problems, that were, you know, that I clung to that celebrity so much, but I didn't really get to hear about like why they were addicted and what made them tick. Like, those are the things that make me want to share more about what makes me stay plugged in. When I talk to people about topics like spirituality, you know, how is that going to make me better in my recovery, a better mother, a better employee. Like, this stuff I can't always learn when I'm going to a 12-step meeting. So being plugged in, being able to have a audience that trusts me with some honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, and being able to give the hope message out to other people, that hope shot that, any addict can recover. Anyone that has a drinking problem, a drug problem, a gambling problem, an eating problem, a problem with sex, a problem with whatever it is, even a problem with self, narcissists, like people that have problems with, how they feel about themselves and how they feel about their bodies can get plugged into this podcast and learn a lot more about it being okay to be you. It's okay to express your truth and not worry about what other people think about you. And I had a lot of problems with that. Like, I was a people pleaser. I always cared more about what everybody else thought of me than, what I thought of myself, and being okay with being plugged in with just myself, being okay with Maura. I'm an addict. I love myself. I have 2 kids, and I may have not brought them up conventionally, the right kind of way with the white picket fence in the family, but you know what? I freaking go to meetings and I stay clean and I stay connected and I stay plugged into all areas of my recovery outside of recovery. That means self-help, self-care. It means exercise. It means eating right. It means treating people with respect and kindness. It means educating other people and being there for people when my phone rings. Like, those small things. The other day I was at, outside a meeting, and this girl, she came up to me and she was new, and I said, "You want to go to breakfast?" She says, "I don't have enough money." I said, "Get in the car. Let's go." Like, it's not about that. Those little forms of service that we do to help people, they'll remember that and then keep doing it tenfold. So positivity of our recovery is a contagious thing. The positive message that we bring to other people in our everyday lives, that's what holds true. When people say Maura, they say that because they know me. Like, they know Maura as a happy, outgoing, smiling personality that loves people, right? But you don't know what I'm feeling inside unless you are talking to me on a very deeper level. Like, I have a sponsor for that. I sponsor women. I can talk deeply with a therapist about how I feel. But, this platform is going to be a way for me to be able to help people express what has made them successful and being okay with being plugged in outside of just going a 12-step program. Because, that stuff is cool, like looking cool in the meeting and acting cool and getting raw when you can. And that's one thing. But the way you act when you're outside of recovery in normal day, regular living, and dealing with some different topics and meeting some different people and educating ourselves on stuff to make ourselves better and more plugged into ourselves and making that connection is more of that mental, spiritual, emotional growth. So my recovery is my fuel. That fuels this podcast. Like, I don't regret my story. I don't regret being homeless. I don't regret having 2 kids, out of wedlock. I don't regret my assault. I don't regret being a drug addict. I don't regret any of those things, having to go to jail here and there. Like, those awful things that happened were the foundation that I rebuilt my life on. I have a success story. I got my life back together. It was a slow process. Getting a car on the road, getting a job, going back into society, and being okay with the fact that, you know what? I have some things on my record I'm not proud of, and being okay with it today and knowing that I could push through all that and know that that's the past and I'm moving forward. I'm living just for today. I can't control tomorrow. I can't control what happened yesterday, but I can stay plugged in to what my passion is, and that's bettering myself and sharing that with you and having some people on my show that will make that difference for everyone, making a difference. That's what it's about. Because there's people out in the area and nationally that'll listen to this podcast that aren't in recovery. Maybe they're parents of kids that have a drug problem. Maybe they have kids that have depression. It could be anything. It could be any walk of life. And we have a message to share. Being plugged in is an empowering feeling. having everything, outside of my recovery come together and bring me to this medium of being able to share it here and get really honest and knowing my truth, that is an amazing feeling. That is something that is so in my wheelhouse of being able to do as a communicator and a professional woman that, I just have a passion for engaging over media. It's just something I love to do, and I'm so excited to share this with everybody. I will take suggestions, send me an email, send me a text, reach out to me on any social media platform that the podcast is on. Give me suggestions, give me feedback. Tell me what you want to hear, because it's all about the audience. If I can touch one person and give them a hope shot each episode, that's growth. That is, to me, success. Success isn't always about money and fame and a great title and a great car and a great life. I'm happier than ever when I'm plugged in and giving someone a message of hope. That, to me, that is boom, that's the experience that I want to feel through this podcast. So I'm excited to have everyone on this journey with me and feeling that passion that I have for people and getting us plugged in. So I'm really grateful that you're all tuning in, and I can't wait to show you how plugged in we can get. Thanks.